Welcome to my first YouTube video. This is pretty exciting for me. I'm venturing over from Instagram stories to turn these into YouTubes for a little bit longer and a little bit more continuous information and to network with a whole different community than what I'm used to. So I'm Katie Crosby and I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and I've started an Instagram called Thriving Littles, which is all about books that I've read for clients. So it started out that I was reading all kinds of books to contribute to the work that I do. So I think for each kid, it's like a different puzzle and figuring out, and I'm always looking for all of the resources and information that I can with each child that I work with and each family that I work with to be the most effective. And I'm really, really interested in what I do. So it makes it easy to read a lot and contribute and want to share this info with families that I'm working with. So I started this Instagram as a way to post clips of books and give it a little bit of insight from a pediatric OT lens below in the comments. So check it out if you're interested in that. I love it because it's a way to put all the information out there without imposing it on anybody. So everything resonates differently with different people, and this has been a really neat way to see what bits of info resonate with totally different individuals and what really seems to resonate with more than most anyone. So it's been a really cool networking, community building, really social outlet for me that I didn't really expect. So who knew social media could be so social, right? I really had no idea. So I have friends on Instagram, friends that I talk to or video chat with periodically, some of them more than my real life friends. So it's been an awesome way to find like-minded people, but also really diverse people that I never would have met. So people around the world that I never would have encountered. People that I never would have encountered. So I've been working with kids, just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been working with kids as long as I can remember. So when I was itty bitty, I was always gravitating toward taking care of younger kids and wanting to be nurturing to my cousins and wanting to put on shows with them and organize and probably boss them around a little bit more indirectly than I probably should have. But it gave me an interest in kicking off a babysitting business. So I had business cards and I nannied and babysat for probably 30 families around my hometown for years. For years and years. So I was passionate about it, and it was a fun, creative way to spend my time and make some money, as I was always needing growing up. And I became interested in mental health a little bit later. So I ended up being a site leader for a volunteer program called Chicago Cares. So I was leading a group of volunteers and kids recovering from the kids were recovering from domestic violence. So we would spend time with the kids while the moms were in counseling, and we would do reading and crafting with them. And then weekly, I was there kind of organizing and figuring out the craft and going from there. So it was a really neat way to bridge my mental health interest with working with kids. So that was one big way that I got into mental health in kids, was seeing the effects of the trauma and the wounds that they'd had on these kids and how it did contribute to them being able to be organized and have different behaviors, yet still have a lot of joy in certain simple things that we could plan for them. So figuring out what would really bring the safety and the security and the joy versus contribute to their disorganization. So flash forward, I changed careers to pediatric occupational therapy, and I've been working at the same kind of pediatric private practice since 2012. I have always been interested in enabling or empowering people versus helping them. So OT was a natural fit for me because it's all about figuring out the occupations that people do in their daily lives and how can we increase the participation, or how can we help them participate in better ways than they are now with whatever their capabilities are. So for kids, this means that we're helping them with play, relationships, interacting with peers, going to the bathroom, handwriting, or school. So there's all kinds of different things that we do throughout our day, and we don't think about it. So we're trying to think how to make these things easier for kids and families. So a little bit about me personally. I adore my husband and my rescue Chihuahua mix, Moose, so you'll see him a lot if you follow me on Instagram. I live in Chicago now, and I'm originally from northern Michigan, which is my happy place. I love it up there. It's gorgeous. And I am obsessed with nature and being outside, so I love any escape in the wilderness, in the woods, out with wide open spaces. Nature really grounds me and is regulating for me. I also love music, so I love singing loudly in the car, which is probably louder than I should be, but singing along. You can find me often drinking Americanos or almond milk lattes. I love coffee. I love a good cup of coffee, although I can't drink too much or I get jittery, so try to stick to about one a day and really savor it and really enjoy it. And then I love being near water. So I've always lived near water. It's always been a calming thing for me. I think it helps to keep things in perspective of realizing how small we are and how everything is connected. So you think about the water and how many places it connects and how it's constantly moving, and yet there's calm. So it's a beautiful symbolic way to think about life in the way that I relate to it. What else? I also love writing. So Thriving Littles has been fun for that. I've had a private blog since I was 18, and before that, I started writing years and years before that, probably as early as I could write in paper journals. So I would hide them in between my mattress, and writing's always been a really therapeutic outlet for me. So I love to get my thoughts down. I'm much better at articulating my thoughts in writing first, or my feelings in writing first, and then talking about it versus talking about it straightforwardly. So that's always been a favorite thing of mine. Also reading, needless to say, I read constantly. I read probably 1 or 2 books a week on a good week, and I'm always kind of reading a lot of different books at once, picking out pieces or picking out a page of a book I've read before countless times, and it really speaks differently to me every time I open the book. So that's one of the coolest things I think about personal development, is that I'm constantly growing and we constantly learn and we're constantly shifting perspective in a way that makes us look at everything differently. So it's like reading the same book and having it be different every time. So that's one of the coolest things I think about reading that I love. I also love biking. My husband and I do lots of biking around Chicago. That's our preferred method of transportation. And I love Hallmark movies this time of year. I will sit and watch a Hallmark movie with the fire on and drink some hot chocolate. And that's no place I'd rather be. I also love dark chocolate and kombucha. Another fave. So I look forward to connecting with you, and this video is super casual because I've just decided that if it's not casual, I will not do it, which is probably the story of my life. It's better done than perfect. So I'm never about perfection. It's all about connection. Another thing to mention is I do have a podcast, so I'm kind of figuring out if I'll keep that going or just switch totally to YouTube. So we'll see what everybody thinks, because I could probably record this and have it easily be turned into a podcast. So maybe both at once. We'll see. We'll get crazy. But let me know any questions you have about child development or behaviors or kid relationships or your own emotional regulation. I work with a lot of parents on emotional regulation themselves, so a lot of parents are actually clients of my own. So I do adult emotional regulation as well, and that's probably one of my newly favorite things that I do, because I think it's incredibly empowering to realize and feel validated about why we're acting the way we are in certain moments after developing patterns for so many years. So I've seen so many shifts in just little pieces of information and how empowering that can be for myself and for others. So reach out. One of my favorite things about life is connecting with others that I come across in the day-to-day life that we live. So reach out and say hi, and I look forward to connecting and having you around.